refreshing.
We should be live.
I found it. We're live. We're live, my dudes. Oh,
We are live.
We're live.
Josh, take it away.
We're live. Okay. Why isn't it? I can't see it.
Well,
That's funny. I just got the notification
There
for
it
the
is.
live.
1 second. Can we hold up just a second?
sure.
Hold up.
Are you good? Or do you still need? a
Me?
second?
Well,
I don't know.
I
what-
just feel bad for our Discord.
Oops.
It's fine. You can start whenever.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Hey, it's Wild Josh from Geek-Cetera, and I am joined by Tommy, Ezra, and Chase. And we're going to talk about Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 2. Now, let's get geeky.
You don't
So-
need to leave the gap.
Who wants to go first? I think we have similar opinions on this because we kind of were
Yep.
talking a little bit on our Discord, but was wicked excited for this episode. I mean, like hype,
Mhm.
11. And when it started, I was pretty hyped still. Starting out on
Yeah.
on Tatooine, thinking maybe it's gonna pick up,
Mhm.
and then he goes into the cantina, and then he starts talking about Mandalorians, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna be right. She's
Yeah.
gonna be the one that tells him, hey, there's Boba Fett. He's this guy,
Mhm.
and it doesn't go that way at all.
Yeah.
I was totally
I-
thinking the same thing because, sorry, that canteen scene, the cantina scene was like, oh, this is where they're gonna like this spider guy, or was the spider guy? I don't remember.
He was an ant
Yeah,
or something.
right.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He's gonna tell him about Boba Fett. He's gonna see the armor and be like, oh, that's Boba Fett's armor. No, that didn't happen. Lame.
Does anyone know who
So-
Boba Fett is? It's only been like 6 years since he was like the top bounty hunter in the whole entire galaxy.
Yeah. So I just want to
Like,
go
and
touch.
and not only that, he was used. All right, I feel
No,
like
you're
this
fine.
is
Go
delay.
ahead.
Like Jabba used him,
Right.
so
Yeah.
like obviously he was local too, not just throughout the entire galaxy.
Mhm.
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say when Josh said about like 11 hype, I was thinking that as I'm like I was super hype for the episode to come out, and then as each minute ticked by, my hype level kind of was dropping and dropping, because we talked about this and we're like, all right, when's the next time we're gonna see Boba? And I'm like, oh, we're gonna see him in the next episode because he's still on Tatooine. There's no way that Boba's leaving Tatooine. And then all of
Right.
a sudden, we're off of Tatooine, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
what happened to the rest of my story? Finish
I
what you
know.
started.
I'm starting to wonder if I forget who said it on the Discord that
Logan.
when are we going to see Boba Fett again?
Yeah.
Season 3.
So what's gonna happen is
Might be true.
we're gonna have Boba and Moff Gideon, and they're gonna rotate off like one appearance every season.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't think we were gonna get more Boba Fett in this episode. I felt like
You did say that. Yeah, you said it on last week's
he
stream.
wasn't gonna come back until later in the season. Yeah,
You said
was
it on
right.
last week's
You were
stream.
right.
I don't like that you're right.
Unfortunately, you were
Yeah.
right.
Dang it, Tommy.
No,
This is all
I
your
wanted
fault.
I want Boba to be a
don't get me wrong.
Moonwalk.
I did want that, but
Yeah.
I was, yeah.
Because, like, no, and this is the thing. Like, I feel like Logan is right now.
Mhm.
Like, he's going to be the main villain for this entire season. So we're not going to see Moff Gideon again until next year. Which,
Oh, no. That
like,
can't be.
well, okay, maybe not. But, like, that's kind of what it's building it up to be. Like, I wonder if Boba Fett's going to be the guy who we see at the end of the season. And we're not going to see Moff Gideon and the Darksaber until, like, next year.
The reason I think
We'll
we'll
see
see
them
Moff
all
Gideon
when
is
they're-
just with the trailer and the fact that they're in an Imperial compound with shiny, fresh white stormtroopers. That's the reason I
Mm.
think we'll see Moff Gideon.
Okay.
I hope we get more Dave Filoni as his rebel pilot.
Yep.
Yeah, Trapper Wolf. That's his name. I
Is that
think.
his name?
Trapper Wolf. Yeah. I was thinking we'll get more Moff Gideon and Boba Fett when they do 6 seasons in the movie.
So-
So wait for the movie.
But here's the thing: we've now had more Dave Filoni than either of those other two characters combined.
That's true.
He's made more appearances.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
are we going to wait to talk about the ending? Because
Well, we can go through it because, like,
Yeah, okay.
we're still on Tatooine, and
Yeah.
and the which I really love every time they go back to the cantina because there's so much like I want to go there. I want to go to that place and get a drink. I wish you could.
Okay. Can I just make a gripe real quick? Who gives a crap about Galaxy's Edge? Why can't the Disney theme park be the stinking Tatooine in the cantina?
Yeah,
Like,
Mos
why
Eisley,
can't? What? Anyway, sorry, miniature rant.
yeah. I want to go where and sit in the same,
Sit in
what do
Han
they call
Solo's
it?
booth and just
yeah,
like,
where
chill
where
out.
the shot right
Yeah.
there, and yeah, exactly. But anyways, I did like that scene.
Mhm.
So then, like quickly, like you said, Chase, as your excitement level was going down, you realize he's just going to be flying this
Yeah,
this frog lady with her eggs.
what a boring
to
bounty
another
hunter
planet.
mission. What a boring bounty hunter mission.
Yeah.
I
Like
know.
there isn't like
did
a
feel like-
shuttle that does that like every day between
Yeah.
planets that she can't hop on and just
Well, it probably goes through hyperspace
Well,
lanes.
okay, through hyperspace.
hyperspace.
Yeah, that's because she needed to avoid that.
Mm.
Which doesn't
But
make
okay,
sense to me, though.
charter a pilot. Are
I
there
mean,
not just pilots you can
she
charter?
technically did.
You would
But think about this.
Yeah, but he's not a pilot.
But
he's
here-
a bounty hunter.
here's the thing,
At
Ezra.
like
Think
guild
about how much
rates.
cheaper he is. All she's giving him is information. She doesn't actually have to pay for that ride. If she's chartering a pilot, think about how much Han Solo would have charged to just charter
No, you're right.
from planet to planet.
Flight.
So if she's low on funds and just needs to get the eggs to a different planet, then trading information is a really good deal for her if some pilot is dumb enough to take that offer.
No, you're right.
Right.
I forgot about the whole information thing. That's
Yeah.
why he did that.
Yeah, this wasn't out of the kindness of his heart. He's trying to get
No.
something out of it.
he's getting information. She's going to tell him information about where the Mandalorians are. Right.
I didn't watch it twice this week. I had a busy.
I didn't
weekend.
either. I
I
actually
didn't either.
well, it wasn't because I had a busy week. It was because
You didn't want
Filler,
to.
I
filler
didn't
episode.
have to. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't really need to.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, another thing. So we move off. They take off.
Mhm.
If you guys are following, if I'm going too fast, let me know. They take off. They're going to Tommy. Yeah.
I just wanted to say that the in the cantina they had the IG-88 head on the and behind the bar. You know how
Oh, it's like
Oh,
it's part of the bar stuff.
yeah.
Tommy's really
what
good
wa-
about picking up the small background details.
what was the game they were playing, Tommy?
Sabak, the
Yeah,
same
they're
game
playing
that Han and Lando play.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I
So-
have to say.
Okay. So then they leave, and they get into their a little bit of rebel. Or I guess it's not rebel anymore. It's new Republic entanglement, and it's again Dave Filoni. We talked about that. I was a little excited that it was Dave Filoni, but also like, okay, does the New Republic only have like 3 pilots? Because we've seen them twice, and Dave Filoni has been piloting for them twice.
Yep.
So, like, they need a
So-
bigger. Maybe that's why they have problems and they can't defeat the First Order. I don't know.
So Logan in the chat said that the frog lady is a wanted criminal, or at least he says that's what he believes. Was that
I,
the story?
I don't remember.
Remember that.
Interesting. No.
I didn't think so. She doesn't
Didn't
seem
she's
to
like-
be wanted.
She made it seem like she's the last of her family line.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah, that's true.
maybe it's like their race is being exterminated for some reason, but
Mm.
I don't know.
So I'm glad you brought that up, Chase. Do we want to talk about genocidal Yoda, baby Yoda?
The child is a maniac. That is
Yeah.
a carnivorous little monster.
He'll eat anything that you put in front of him.
Kind of like my cat.
I said too before he even ate the first one. I'm like, and when he was looking in, I'm like, oh man, he's gonna want to eat those. And then sure enough, whoop, pops one in. Now people have been like, there's a little backlash about this. I don't know if on Reddit, like I've been seeing people saying like he's Sith and he's terrible. This is like the last of this race, and he's eating them.
Agreed.
He's also just an animal. Like he's not an animal, but I guess he's just a baby. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's not.
I
Alright,
tried
mini-
to.
mini
He
theory,
force
guys.
choked out Cara Dune too. Like, why are we not talking about that?
Okay. Well, Yeah, my mini theory is he's actually a Sith Lord, and he knows more than he lets on, and that's why he has the ability of force choking, and that's why he's
So
eating.
he's like the new Darth Jar Jar.
Well, he's siphoning off
Darth Yoda.
their life energy by eating them, right? He's through
a
killing,
good point.
he's becoming stronger.
He's nourishing. I did see someone have a theory that maybe he's just storing them inside him because it was cold, and then when he gets to like where they're going, he's gonna throw them up and they're gonna be safe.
No,
I
I don't know.
disagree.
I don't
Because
think
he-
that's gonna
the-
happen. I think he's eating them.
I joked
think he's
about that.
hungry.
I joked about that in our Discord, but also he ate that first one before the plane was even cold.
That's
like,
true.
like that was when they first
They
like
hadn't
got
even
on the
left
ship. He's just like,
planet. Pickled eggs. So, yeah. So they get their New Republic entanglement.
mhm.
He tries to do what? Anyone watch Firefly?
Yeah.
There's a maneuver that they do in Firefly, which is very similar to the maneuver they do. I forget what it's called. They have a name for it. And I saw some people talking about how that was kind of like an ode to Firefly, that they pulled off the same maneuver.
Yes. Okay. Can I just talk about how much that planet and like them flying through it like that reminded me of that episode of Firefly when they're like flying above the snow planet? Tom, you know what I'm talking about. Like that
Yeah, I know what
entire
you're talking about.
scene was like a shot for shot remake of like that. Like I don't know.
It did feel, and the ship looks so similar to the
So
Serenity.
similar.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
it's like the same general layout with like and like the same color, like a chromy silvery kind of color. Yeah. So that I mean, I was saying it from the beginning in season 1. I was like, this ship looks like the Serenity.
Yeah.
So
It
that's
does have
kind
similar, yeah.
of cool that they
Mhm.
like kind of sort of called back to the Serenity. I don't know.
Yeah. So they crash on this planet, and right away, the Mando. It's weird. Like, the Mando is not gonna fix the ship. He's kind of upset. She's upset because she wants her eggs to survive, obviously. So they have like this little like
Needy.
I don't know, this little like tiff.
Mhm.
It just felt unnecessary to me. Like I don't
Mhm.
know. I wasn't like into it at all. I'm like, just fix the ship and get out of there. Like, what are you gonna
Yeah.
do? Like, freeze to death? Like, the end of the
Also,
show?
this is a space-faring species that he is talking to,
Mhm.
right? So generally, I would say that because they're probably more widely known than like I don't know the Tuscan Raiders. He can speak Tuscan, but he can't speak this frog language.
And
Well,
to be fair,
maybe there might not be that many of them because of the fact that
I would
Yeah.
he's trying to
argue.
save their kind. So maybe there's not that many.
I would argue that Tuscan is harder to learn because it's like grunts and then also sign language on top of it.
All you need to know in Tuscan is this. That's it.
Yeah, this is you're gonna die.
The only sign you need to know if you're
Yeah.
Tuscan.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
kill
yeah,
you.
kill it.
I definitely understand what you're saying, and I was gonna try and play devil's advocate, but I really can't. Because I'm
mean-
like, why would you? Because Tuskens, as far as we know, they're only on Tatooine. They're such a primitive species. Why would you need to learn this? I
Yeah.
can
Okay.
understand, like, going with the fact that trying to learn every language that's spoken in the New Republic and the Galactic Republic is a hefty task, and you can't expect them to learn every single language.
I agree.
But,
But
like-
like, why Tuscan?
Yeah,
Well,
why choose Tusken instead of like Wookiee? Because you would think that it's kind of like the same thing. So, or, like, I don't know, it's
Yeah.
kind of like the deep
Yeah.
throaty.
I was wondering because he's got
Well-
this helmet on that can do like these tracking things and
Mhm.
can see like footprints and all this heat seeking. I'm like, does he just have a translator built into that thing that can at least
Logan says it's all
translate
for
him?
plot reasons. So
Okay,
there's your answer.
I saw that and I
Yeah,
was
that's
going
true.
to answer that.
Sorry.
Thing is, like, that's just it's not though, because that's not like it was a dumb part of the plot that she had to like
Mhm.
build that robot and like I don't know. It just
Yeah.
it didn't. It
So
wasn't good.
if she has the tech to fix that robot's vocabulator and translate, why doesn't she get to work on fixing the ship?
That's a good
Like-
point.
Yeah.
Pull your weight,
I-
lady.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
So Yeah.
I think she knows her way around a welding tool. And,
Yeah.
and
So
actually help.
for plot reasons that they're going to completely ignore in the next scene. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then he decides finally he's going to fix the ship. And then she runs away.
Mhm.
Which I'm like, why? Now he's doing what she wants him to do, but she decides she's going to leave.
She had no way of knowing that there was going to be heat anywhere. She just like ran into this giant ice cave for what seems like a very far distance.
Yeah.
Like what
So
are you
she can
hoping to
take a bath
find in
with her
there?
eggs.
You're not going to find stuff to make a fire, I can promise you that. Like
Yeah. No, you're only going to find trouble on that planet.
how did she know that there was like a hot spring there? Like,
yeah, even if she has thermal vision. Like when the Mando
know.
switched his helmet to thermal vision, he couldn't even see that like through walls or anything. There's no way for her
I
to
know.
know.
I was thinking that too. Like he's following her footprints,
Mhm.
but there's not like heat radiating from these
No.
these hot springs. That I don't know.
Not
It
until
was
he got
kinda-
like way into the cave and got to that section. But
Yeah. So how did she know, or was she just taking off and she stumbled upon it? And was like, oh, I'm gonna take a bath with my eggs. This looks like a fun thing to do. I don't know. It
Yeah,
was
I don't
weird. The whole thing was a little strange.
mhm.
But
Yeah.
they end up in that cavern with the hot springs, and Baby Yoda is hungry again. Even though he's eaten at this point, like I don't know, half of her eggs.
He's a growing child, Josh. He needs to eat a lot of calories.
I guess so.
he's eaten more than his weight at that point.
Yeah, and he decides that eating spiders is a good idea now. So the spiders awaken. Did they awaken because he ate a spider, or did they just like it was their time to awaken?
I don't know. I just want to cover what Kyle, we miss you very much, but what he said in the chat. He said that he thinks the droid rebuild is foreshadowing for the jailbreak, the connection that Dave Filoni and the other guy's character make to the jailbreak.
I did notice,
That's
how
fair.
they.
It's
Yeah.
I like the wording though. He said a lame attempt at
lame attempt.
foreshadowing.
Yes.
Yeah. I did notice that, like they do the little preview, and they showed like a lot of previews from
Mhm.
like the first season from that. Was it called the Prisoner episode? I think.
Mhm.
They showed a lot of that, so I was kind of like, okay, they're gonna have some kind of tie into that somehow.
Mhm.
And it was the Dave Filoni thing in that droid, but like
Yeah.
Kyle said, it was kind of a lame attempt. It was a
Mhm.
throwaway episode. It was a throwaway episode. It didn't really connect to anything.
So I don't mean to just talk crap about this whole episode, but like
Yeah.
it was not a great
Yeah.
episode. It was super underwhelming.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we're tearing it apart, and it's
I don't-
not something we
my-
want to be doing
like-
about the Mandalorian. But like,
I agree.
come on, we get 8 episodes a year. Make
So,
them count.
My question is,
Yeah.
if this had been like part of the first season, would we have hated on it that bad? Because it felt like there were some filler
No.
episodes in season 1 that were still really good episodes. He was
I'll
just
tell you.
he was just bouncing around from planet to planet to planet in the first season, and it didn't really.
I'll
we
tell you
didn't hate it.
why. I'll tell you why we hated it so much. It's because of the first episode of season 2. The last chapter that we just watched
Mhm.
was such an amazing opener. Like,
Mhm.
how do you
Yeah.
follow that?
Yeah,
And
and I
it-
think I was gonna
and
say
a-
part of the issue is now we have 2 open storylines with Boba Fett and Moff Gideon, and you're not furthering any of those storylines. I think is where you go wrong.
Yeah. So you're saving it all for the end again,
Yeah,
and then building hype for third season. So, there was a lot of people that tied the way actually season 1 episode 2 and season 2 episode 2 were kind of similar. He's transporting something.
Mhm.
He's transporting the baby in season 1.
Mhm.
This little frog. They have to complete this daunting task, which is fight the Mudhorn or fight the. So I guess
His
they're-
ship
and
gets
they got to fix
torn
the
apart.
ship and
Yeah.
get out. Yeah. So kind of
So-
similar, telling the same story but a little different, a little twist on it.
So I would argue, and this is something like I don't know because obviously this didn't happen, so it's hard to say like, oh, this is how I would have felt if they did it this way. But like, I want to say I wouldn't have minded so much if they started the season out slow, even coming off the the amazing ending of last season. I would have been fine if like this was the first episode, and then they did the Tatooine thing like a little bit like
Mhm.
2 episodes down the road or whatever, and then at that point just finish the like. Do that story arc, do the Tatooine Boba Fett story arc.
Yeah.
One after the other, boom, done.
Mhm.
And then go into Moff Gideon. Like, I wouldn't have mind if the first 3 episodes were kind of like slow like this,
Mhm.
but gradually built up.
Yeah.
I think the issue was they opened so strong, and there's
Yeah.
no way to follow that.
Yeah, that first episode was
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah. So where does that get us? They fight these spiders, and so I want to talk about the spiders because the spiders were kind of actually it was cool. They were swarmy, very creepy feeling, and when I saw them, I'm like, I know I've seen these spiders before, and I kept thinking it was in a video game, but I couldn't think of what video game it was. I knew I had seen them before though, and then I saw something on Reddit, and it was like boom, clicked in my brain where I saw them. There was concept art that Ralph McQuarrie did for Empire Strikes Back.
You want me to put
And
up a
Chase is
picture?
gonna
Yeah.
pull that up for us. Yeah. And when I saw that concept art, I was like, bingo, that is exactly where I had seen them before. So that was cool. That I really appreciate that they took something like Ralph McQuarrie concept art and used that for, this season, which was really sweet. I mean, that is it right there. Like, perfect.
Yeah.
Then, when I did a little bit more digging, I found that there was a book called Anakin's Quest. It was a youth series of books, and on the cover of that book, and obviously didn't read the book, they have that spider as well. So these spiders have been around for a while, and if you want to pull that up, Chase,
Yeah,
you're doing that. They've been around for a while, and they've been kind of throwing homage to them, which is cool. So I was like, is there more? And I remembered that there was a spider. There were spiders in Rebels. So then I went to those spiders in Rebels, and they're actually, you can pull those up, Chase, if you want. There was an episode where Sabine fights them, but they're different.
They're different.
And
Yeah, you can tell.
I'm thinking that they're the same family of spider, but different species, because they do have the same legs, but you can see they don't have the long I can't speak. Snout.
Yeah.
Words are hard. With the circular teeth around it, they have more like a beak with like mandibles for like grabbing and pulling things in.
And it makes sense. They're living in different environments, so.
Right. So they're not exactly the same spider, but it's not the first time that we've seen these spiders in Star Wars. And I just love that they tied into Ralph McQuarrie. I thought that was a really cool touch.
It does beg the question: what else is on the planet they're eating that makes their beaks different?
Yeah.
Like why?
Yeah.
Why is this beak good for snow and this beak not good for
I don't know.
snow?
It goes to like, you look at Darwin's studies with the finches, and they had different beaks for the different types of food they would eat. So
that's what I'm referring. That's what I'm referring to, like adaptation. But like,
yeah,
why,
what are they
what
eating on this snow planet?
I know that they like. How are they living there?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the case in most Star Wars things where you're just like, but
Yeah.
they don't explain, obviously.
No.
Yeah.
And how many of those things did Mando kill?
Oh, a billion.
Yeah, like in that scene, it looked like
they
there
just
were,
kept coming.
But in the scene, it looked like there were far more than he killed. Like
we were wondering when we were watching it, like, why isn't like Baby Yoda just like eating all the spiders?
I was waiting
why
for him
did
to
he
do
get
some
afraid?
thing too.
Yeah.
Like
he ate the first one and was fine, but like, oh, now they're alive, you can't eat them. Just come on, just
He
eat
was
them all.
scared.
he was full. He
Just
filled
eat
up on
them
eggs.
all.
Yeah, he filled up on eggs.
And I was waiting too. I'm like, when is he gonna use this flamethrower here? This seems like a perfect time to
Yeah.
flame
same.
some spiders.
Yep.
But he did eventually use them.
We saw it.
So,
Yeah.
so he gets in the ship. Somehow he's gonna make the ship work and fly, even though it's got huge holes in it. And but then Dave Filoni saves the day. Right? He's about to take off. I guess spider drops down.
Yeah.
Dave Filoni comes in and saves the day, and then kind of like laughs. Like that was another problem I had with this episode.
Yeah, I was
Is
gonna
that
go there too.
That whole interaction was weird. Like, hey, we should be arresting you, but you did some good things, so we're not going to arrest you. But we're
Good
also
luck
not going to
dying
help
here
you.
to spires.
So we're going to leave you here to die, even though you helped us out. Bye.
Yeah, I thought that was very odd.
Oh,
like,
and if we ever do see you again, make sure your transponder is working. Like, what?
Yeah. Why not just help the guy out? I mean,
come on, Dave.
yeah. That was so frustrating. I'm like, are you serious? They're basically saying, good luck. You're probably going to die here. but we're not going to arrest you. So there's that. You could survive in prison, but die on this ice planet. Like, wouldn't leaving him there be worse than arresting him? At least arresting him, he's going to get like 3 square meals a day in a prison.
Hmm.
No, we're going to leave you to freeze to death on an ice
Yeah.
planet.
Yeah, that does seem definitely worse.
Yeah. And then somehow the Mando is able to repair glass, which is that's incredible because
Well, I'm sure they have some
legs
technology.
of the legs of the spiders come through the glass and
Mhm.
shatter it, right? And then he's like, I'm going to get this thing ready to
Well,
fly in space. We just
if-
can't use the rest of the ship.
Now my question is, and I don't remember because I didn't watch it twice. Did we see like what repaired the glass? Because it could just be like a patch, like you know how they repair tire like bicycle tires. They just like put like
Yeah,
like a
we didn't
tape
see.
on
They
it.
didn't show anyways.
No.
I mean, they just
I
make it
feel like
airtight. They
there
don't have to
is
make
a
it
scene
structural.
too. I feel like there is a scene too where they're out in space where you see the full windshield is repaired.
Yeah. It's weird.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's
Weird.
like nanobot glass.
Yeah.
It just kind of like grows back.
Weird.
So, yeah. So then that was it, and I was kind of like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
bummed. Like,
Yeah. Like this is all we get for the episode.
yeah. Right now we're in a pandemic. We don't really have much going for us. We have Mando that comes out every Friday. Don't let us down.
Yeah. So, in terms of if you want to look back at all of season 1, all of season 2, where does this rank? Where does this rank on your guys' list for Mando episodes?
Might be my least favorite.
I think it's
This might
probably
be
my
the
least
worst one.
favorite.
Yeah.
Which is funny because if you asked
Yeah.
me that, did you ask that? We didn't ask that question last week.
No,
But
because
if you
that was
asked
probably
last
number
week-
1 for all of us.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like
Yeah.
that was probably the best one.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, if I can count the season finale, like the 2-part, as one episode, that would
Mhm.
definitely be the best in my opinion.
Mhm.
But that was like the best standalone episode.
I
If you
will
had to-
allow you to count it just because the first episode of the season was probably as long as those 2 episodes combined.
No, the last
Yeah.
2 are actually longer.
Were they?
Yeah, they were like 45 and then 50 a piece, I think.
Oh.
So they were a little bit longer.
The entire first season didn't feel like long episodes, but then
What was your least favorite before this one?
Oh, the second one? I'm trying to
So
remember.
episode
the one where he
2
had
with
to fight the Mudhorn.
the Mudhorn.
No, that was good.
No.
I think
Episode
my
3
least
was
favorite
good.
was the one where he went to that shrimp colony.
No, I liked
And-
that because that's where you meet Kara.
Really?
That's
Yeah,
where you
I
meet
like
Kara.
Kara, but I don't love that. That story has been told so many times.
But
It
didn't
has,
they-
but
Yeah.
they still did it good, I think. I liked it.
Yeah, they did it good. No, there wasn't a weak one. I mean,
Oh,
the
I'm trying to think
weakest
what's-
one was probably the first one. No,
No, episode 1 was good. What was
No.
episode
Episode
4?
one.
there wasn't a weak one. I'm sure. Like they're all good.
Now I need to know.
Episode
4 was the
Um,
shrimp colony, I think.
I thought that was episode
Yeah.
3. What was
The
that?
No,
Mandalorian
episode
teams
3,
up. The Mandalorian teams
3.
up with the next soldier. Sorry.
Oh,
Uh,
Sorry.
Yeah. Go
I'm
ahead.
calling it shrimp colony.
I'm definitely
Go
looking
ahead. Go ahead, Tommy. Episode 3.
Oh, I was gonna say episode 3 was when he turns on the Empire guys, and
Yeah.
then he gets saved by the
Oh, okay.
all the Mandalorians.
Let's see.
Yeah, that was an awesome episode.
I love that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Sanctuary.
So it goes from Sanctuary,
thinking-
which is the shrimp, and then the Gunslinger.
Yeah,
Those are
I
the
think
2 that have the least stars.
Gunslinger
Oh yeah, I don't.
is
I don't
probably
really
my
like
least.
the one. Yeah.
Gunslinger.
that-
Why don't I remember?
That's, the one with
where they-
Ming-Na
Oh.
Wen.
Tatooine.
Ming-Na Wen is in.
No, I liked that one too. I think it might have been the weak.
That one
I think you might be
fit
right.
in the least because I don't know. That was the
No,
first
I
trip
think
to
you might be right.
Tatooine, and
Yeah. I love Pelimoto. Is that her name?
the crazy woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Richard Simmons. Yeah. I love that character.
Yeah,
so.
I didn't really like.
I do too.
I don't know. I think Gunslinger is probably my previous least favorite episode, if I had to
Well,
pick one.
It was also like the shortest? No, second shortest. I
Yeah, I don't
think
know.
if I had to pick before, it would be between Gunslinger.
Is your least favorite?
Yeah, but it's like
It's hard
not.
calling it a least favorite because it's not a bad episode though.
No,
Like everything in season
So,
1, it felt like
what
they
we're-
could do no wrong.
What we're discovering is this last one was by
Yeah.
by far the worst.
far the
So-
worst.
So yes, I
I'm
think
not
it's
even drinking, and I can't
I
speak tonight.
my new theory is our hatred for this episode is compounded by the fact that last episode was like the best one,
Yeah.
and this is by far the worst episode out of all of them.
I
Like
still
the
didn't
hate-
hate this one.
I after looking back, I don't even feel bad
Yeah.
that we're like hating on this episode.
I'm
so
sure
hard.
when I
Like,
rewatch this season, though, it's
Not good.
still the show itself is still
I'm just gonna
super
skip it.
good. I
Yeah.
don't. I wouldn't
You
skip it. No, I wouldn't skip it.
No, it's not worth
But-
the skip. I actually think my son would really like this one because
Yeah, my brother
Because he likes
this one.
spiders.
yeah, he likes spiders and Baby Yoda. So he's actually petrified of spiders, but he likes things that scare him. So it's
Your
weird
son is
like
a
that.
psychopath.
Yeah,
I want-
he
My
likes things
brother's
that
the
scare
same
him.
way.
Yeah,
I get that. That's why we like play
That's
scary games and watch horror movies.
Speak for yourself.
Um,
I've never done any of those things.
Oh, I just
like
thought of
both those
something that we
things.
missed. My favorite part of this whole episode was the part at the very beginning when they try to steal from the Mando, and and that little guy
Mhm.
runs off with his jetpack,
Oh my goodness.
and he launches it straight up in the air.
Yep.
Oh, that was the best. That was so fun.
I'm gonna give this episode some praise though. Are you ready?
Okay. Yeah,
So
Mhm.
one thing it did right, length.
Mhm.
Like, can this be the shortest one of the entire season? It was
How long?
42 minutes. If
Yeah.
this is like the shortest one, or like if they keep doing like 50 to 45-minute ones, I'll be so happy. Like,
Yeah.
just keep that
Mhm.
length. Like, I
Mhm.
don't want to see another 30-minute one.
No.
Yeah.
I feel like at this
So-
point, with being in season 2 with all these unwrapped story arcs, you kind of need to keep them a bit longer, so that way you can get more story in. Especially if at some point they're planning to give us Sabine and Ahsoka. Like, there's no way you can put that into a 30-minute episode. No way.
Well, and this
I
is
hope
why
not.
I was positive that
Mhm.
they were going to kill Boba this episode. Because, like, how are you going to fit all of these things that you've teased
I
or
don't know.
Yeah.
confirmed at this point?
Eh,
You know?
mhm.
There's only 8 episodes.
We only have 6 more.
So many episodes to fit it in,
Mhm.
you know, and we don't want to run into what we ran into with Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, where it's like
you got, like,
everything.
yeah, everything all in one. Boom. So
And that's what I was worried about from the beginning when I heard all of the rumors. I was like, oh great,
Yeah.
some fan service bullcrap that we don't want to watch. Like, that's
Mhm.
great. I kind of turn around on that idea because I'm like, okay, well, if they space it out and just write it well, like, it'll be fine. But if they just like save it for like a 2-episode story arc where they have like all these characters show up, like, that's gonna feel like The Last Jedi, or no, The Rise of Skywalker, and it's gonna feel like, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I know what you mean. Yep. So let's talk about where they're going. What next? What we were way off last week.
well, they still have the lame frog lady.
So
Yeah.
there's a scene in the trailer where you see the frog lady, and it's the scene where they're on like a planet that looks like it's got a lot of water.
That's the one that we suspect
And
is
I think
Moncala.
it's yes, that's the one we
Yeah.
suspect was Moncala, and we think that's the same scene or the same planet, anyways,
Uh-huh.
that we get the hooded figure.
Yeah.
So my thought is that the intel she's going to give him is
Mhm.
that there's a Mandalorian there,
And it's
and
Sabine.
it's Sabine.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're right. I like that. I think you're right.
I
I
think
think you're like,
that's
right
a
on
good
the nose.
recovery. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it's Sabine or Bo-Katan?
It's Sabine.
I
She's
think
way too young to
Sabine-
be Bo-Katan. Way too young.
Yeah. Also, I'm still holding out hope that they're gonna cast Katie Sackhoff to do Bo-Katan.
Oh,
And I
that'd be
still agree with
amazing,
Ezra.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's
I would
where
love
I
that.
think it's going. I'm not 100% sure because, we
Yeah.
don't really know. But it seems like if we match up the shots, that's where they're going.
Mhm.
So
I like that. Yeah.
we could be way off. We were so far off on this one.
What if they just did
Oh,
like
yeah.
a
One of
complete,
us said they were going to be fighting spiders on a snow planet, and it's episode 2. So
what
Yeah.
if they just did like a complete sky replacement on that shot? And like
Yeah.
it's somewhere
That's fair.
completely different and just
Okay, good.
they made it
I
look
guess-
like
It's so weird how they do the balance of power in this show, though, because you think about it, and not that he made the crate dragon look like a small task, but he was definitely struggling against those spiders way more than he struggled against a crate dragon.
I
Yeah.
think the difference was like the amount of them.
But you have like a million tiny little ones. There was like, you know,
But
20
but
of the bigger size ones, and then 2 or 3 of the the large ones. But it's a
Personally-
greater crate dragon.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I think personally, like if you had a plan going into fighting the Crate Dragon, first of all.
Okay, fair.
Second of all, the Crate Dragon
Yeah.
is like a big thing that's easy to shoot, where the spiders are 20 like million little tiny things that are harder to shoot.
I didn't see him miss a shot.
Well, I know, but there's so many. You
Yeah, I
have
know.
to take so many shots to kill
Yeah.
them all. Like
Yeah.
he's. I mean, if you went in with a plan, like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be exploded. We're gonna use bombs. You know that, but he didn't have any. He was jumped
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
You know?
He didn't have plans or any backup.
He was caught. He was caught off guard with that.
Fair.
And yeah, in backup too. He didn't have anyone with him. You're right, Tommy. So
that's it. I think. We got
yeah,
nothing else to go. I mean, I thought we could spend hours more, but
Yeah.
the honest thing is there wasn't a whole lot in that episode.
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
there really wasn't.
Just kind of the way it is. So let us know what you thought of that episode 2 of season 2 of The Mandalorian. In the comment section below, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to subscribe, like the video, leave a comment, and until next time, I'm not a taxi service.
5 more days.